Alright, so I've been thinking about where Samsung is actually going with the Ultra series, and the more I look at it, the more the S27 Ultra feels different. Not because of what's changing on the surface, but because of what isn't. For the first time in a while, this doesn't look like a phone chasing attention. It looks like a phone trying to fix behavior. What I mean by that is simple. Most flagship phones today are fast for a moment. You open apps, everything flies, benchmarks look insane. And then 10 minutes later, heat builds up, performance dips, animations get a little inconsistent. You don't always notice it immediately, but over time, it adds up. The S27 Ultra seems like Samsung stepping back and saying, that part needs to stop. If the next Snapdragon platform lands the way it's expected to, especially with a 2nm process likely handled by TSMC, then the real upgrade here isn't speed, it's stability. Compared to something like the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra, which could still struggle to hold peak performance under longer loads, this feels like a shift toward maintaining performance instead of just reaching it. And honestly, that changes everything about how a phone feels to use. There's another layer to this that almost no one talks about properly: memory and cache behavior. It sounds technical, but in real life, it's the difference between your phone feeling smooth or slightly annoying. The S27 Ultra is expected to push improvements here, possibly even moving to LPDDR6 on higher configurations. That doesn't just mean things open faster. It means they stay ready. Less reloading, smoother switching, fewer interruptions when you're doing multiple things at once. It's the kind of improvement you don't screenshot, but you notice constantly. Same story with gaming and sustained performance. A lot of devices can hit high frame rates for a short burst. Very few can hold them. If Samsung leans into better efficiency and smarter resource handling here, the S27 Ultra could feel noticeably more stable after 20 or 30 minutes of real use, not just the first 5. And that's where this starts to feel intentional instead of incremental. Quick side note, because this connects in a practical way. A lot of people try to fix inconsistent performance after the fact, closing apps, tweaking settings, using optimization tools. That's basically the space Walverse operates in, focusing on keeping your phone responsive under load. What's interesting is Samsung seems to be moving that idea directly into the hardware itself this time, which is a much bigger shift than it sounds. Now zoom out for a second, because this is where things get a bit more interesting. Samsung has been trying to bring more of its own chip technology back into the spotlight. We've already seen signs of that, but the Ultra line has always been different. It's where they avoid risk. It's where they prioritize what works over what they want to prove. So if the Samsung Galaxy S27 Ultra sticks with Snapdragon again, that decision says more than any keynote ever will. It means consistency still matters more than control, at least for now. And that also tells you something about who this phone is really for. By the way, quick one. Most people watching aren't subscribed. If you like breaking down tech like this in a more real, long-term way, you might want to stick around. The goal here isn't hype, it's clarity. Coming back to the S27 Ultra, the biggest takeaway isn't that it's doing something dramatic. It's that it's quietly trying to remove the small frustrations that build up over time. Heat, slowdowns, reloads, inconsistency. And if Samsung actually gets that right, this might be one of those phones that doesn't impress you instantly, but ends up being hard to replace later. Which makes me wonder, if this is the direction now, does Samsung eventually double down on this philosophy or go back to chasing headline features again? Take care and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.